Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
In the long and storied history of the Detroit Tigers, the Hall of Fame runs deep. Tonight it's a special telecast, Tigers Hall of Fame night, as we honor those in Cooperstown. Great night for baseball here at Comerica Park. Game 2, Tigers and the White Sox. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen, glad to have you with us here for Game 2 in the series. And Rod, it's going to be a special night here. We've seen Jack going to the Hall of Fame, Tram going to the Hall of Fame, but now we'll delve a little bit deeper tonight.
Well, Tigers have a rich history of players that are in the Hall of Fame, and we're going to learn something tonight. I know we had a lot of new Tiger fans out there that know all about Alan Trammell and Jack Morris just going into the Hall of Fame, but we're going to learn about some of the other guys, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, Nick Castellanos last night, all he did was put together a 5-hit game. He's starting to get hot now, and that's good to see.
You know, Nicholas will tell you that he was due, but he was starting to make some adjustments, and he finally rewarded for those adjustments that he made in last night's game. 5 hits last night, a career high for Nicholas Castellanos. He homered, a couple of doubles, couple of singles, and one of the things that we know about Nicholas Castellanos is when he starts to go like this, the entire team starts to hit as well. So one special night for Nicholas Castellanos. 10 games against the Chicago White Sox this year. Batting average is over 400. 4 home runs. Special night for Castellanos and his teammates.
All right, Tigers and the White Sox getting set. Game 2 in the series. Quick break, then back to the Call Sam Studios. And Matt Shepard. Last night, James McCann did it all. 3 knocks, threw a couple of guys out. Tigers Sox coming up next.
And White Sox, James McCann was phenomenal last night. Welcome back
to the Coliseum studio. I'm Matt Shepard. 3 for 4, 3-run score, but just as impressive was his ability to shut down that potent Chicago running game. He threw 2 runners out last night. That means he's thrown out 19 caught stealing this year, tied for first in the American League. He, Nick Castellanos, and the rest of the Tigers trying to continue their role. They've won 5 in a row against the White Sox. We continue to celebrate a proud franchise all night long. It's a Hall of Fame theme on Fox Sports Detroit for the Tigers and White Sox. Mario and Rod have the action next.
Question. Established in 1901 as a founding member of the American League, 117 different Tiger teams have worn the Old English D with pride. And from that group, 13 special athletes emerged. Athletes whose names will live forever, both in Detroit and in Cooperstown. Ty Cobb, Hank Greenberg, and Al Kaline, joined by the newly enshrined Travelin Morris in baseball's Hall of Fame. How do you celebrate a legend? How do you thank someone who has meant so much to so many? Tonight, we say thank you to a franchise synonymous with Hall of Fame players and Hall of Fame people. Take a walk down memory lane. It's our special Hall of Fame telecast, and it all starts right now.
Back here at Comerica Park, where tonight we celebrate the Hall of Famers with the Old English D White Sox Tigers. Here in Game 2 of the series, our special Hall of Fame telecast tonight. Blaine Hardy is on the mound for the Tigers. He is presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Blaine Hardy checks in 4-4 on the season. He's had some starts. He's also pitched out of the bullpen, and he's probably done his best work against the White Sox this season. He's 2-0 with a 146 earned run average against White Sox bats.
So Hardy will get things going here. The Tigers won the opener last night by a score of 9-5, and they have beaten Chicago pretty badly this year. 9 out of 10 in the season series so far. Here is Tim Anderson, elevated to the leadoff slot in tonight's ball game. And our first pitch is outside. 1 ball and no strikes.
Hardy has all 4 pitches. His fastball, top fastball, will probably be about 90 miles an hour tonight. He also has a changeup. He throws a lot to the left-handers and the right-handers.
Pulled fair down the third base line. It'll go to the corner. It'll be extra bases. Anderson is on his way to second, and he is in with a double.
Kept him quiet last night, but not tonight.
Here's the remainder of the lineup for the White Sox tonight, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Anderson, Garcia, Abreu in the top 3 spots. Davidson back in the lineup batting cleanup. Then Polkin, Smith, you got Sanchez, Lamar, and Engel rounding it out for Rick Renteria and the White Sox. Here is Avisail Garcia. He is batting second tonight, despite the fact that he's 0 for his last 18. And Garcia pounds it foul down the right field line. Leadoff double here by Tim Anderson, just underway, and a gorgeous night once again here at Comerica. Clear skies, warm temps. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. He went up top, and Garcia comes up empty.
Hardy might get up to 88 today with a fastball, 4-seam fastball upstairs, but pretty much to the right-handers. And he might do it right here in the 0-2 count. He might go away with changeup to the righties. He likes his sliders against left-handers.
Opponents this year batting only .218 against that changeup of Hardy's.
It's a good one. And usually teams like to stack their lineup against Blaine with a lot of righties. And that's one of the reasons why he has had so much success against the White Sox this year. But pretty much in his entire career, he's had success against the White Sox bats.
Pulled to third base. Candelario with the running scoop throws him out. Nicely done.
Let's take a look at our Bell Tire pitch by pitch. One of the things they've been able to do pretty much this year is slow down Jose Abreu. And Blaine Hardy is right at the top of that list. Everything at the south of the knees for the most part, knocking him off the plate, and then finally going to finish him off with a really good changeup down and away. That's that pitch that right-handers that aren't having a lot of success against Blaine this year.
We have seen Abreu clear the center field wall several times over the years, but this year batting only .237 versus Detroit.
Yeah, they've handled him pretty nicely this season.
It'll bounce in. 1-0 on Abreu. 20 homers this year for Abreu, a .264 batting average. Came into spring camp this year 15 pounds lighter. Abreu saying that he wanted to be a little bit better around the bag at first base defensively.
He looks better.
Sleek. Now Hardy with the 1-0. Abreu last night with an RBI, had a sac fly, and finished up 1 for 4 in the opener last night. Now the 2-0. 3-0. You know, right on the last road trip, we saw an Oakland team that would get a leadoff double late in games, and they would not really concentrate on advancing the runner. And kind of saw that here tonight with Garcia pulling the ball to third base after the leadoff double by Anderson. We're seeing less and less of that, I think.
Yeah, we really are. I mean, teams just aren't giving away outs. I mean, we've seen some teams do away with the stolen bases. We've talked about the sacrifice bunt last night. That's pretty much gone away in professional baseball, and guys trying to advance runners, they are not trying to do that as much. Blaine Hardy, he walked him on purpose there to set up the double play. Take a look at the Tigers' defensive alignment behind Blaine Hardy this evening. Gerber gets the start in left field this evening. It was Mikey Matuk last night. Reyes back out in center field. Castellanos with the monster night offensively back out in right. Candelario, Iglesias, Goodrum, and Adduci in the infield. And James McCann, boy, did he have a good night. Threw out a couple of runners, had 3 hits last night.
Early threat now for the White Sox. The walk to Abreu sets up Matt Davidson, who did not play last night.
And Hardy also sets up his double play ball here off the bat of Davidson, should he work at the bottom of the zone.
We'll say this, if they turn it though, it's going to be somewhat odd based on the defensive alignment.
Yeah, you got that right.
More of a challenge. There's Nico hugging the bag out there at second, but still on the left side of the bag. Davidson waiting on the 1-0. High fly ball, not very deep, shallow center field, long run, and it's going to drop. A base hit. A looping single to center field. It looked like it would hang up long enough for somebody to get there, but not so.
I mean, apparently Reyes didn't get a great jump on it, nor did Gerber. And Nico Goodrum could not get there. It's good base running by Anderson and also Abreu. And they both had an idea that ball was going to drop. Therefore, they were able to reward Davidson with a base hit because both guys made it safely to their respective bases.
There's Jacoby Jones, who is currently on the disabled list. And he's played some dynamite center field. There's a bender that drops into Polka.
And Polka had a nice night last night. But Blaine Hardy's pretty much shut down left-handers this year with that slider.
Grounded foul. Now it's 0-2. It is a beautiful night tonight. A little bit warm. It's 87 degrees here at game time. Some scattered sunlight still at the ballpark this evening. A little bit of a breeze, not much. Outside 1-2 on Daniel Polka. 3 out of 5 of the ball game last night. Got a piece to stay alive. Polka is one of those guys that swings hard and hits it hard. He has hit a ball as hard as 118 miles an hour this year.
Ooh.
That is up there in Judge territory.
That's right.
Stanton territory.
We've been talking about him ever since we've laid eyes on him this season. He's got one thing on his mind.
Early jam for Blaine Hardy. Home plate umpire tonight is Hunter Wendelstedt. Pulled on the ground and through, base hit. That'll get 1 run in. Anderson scores. Abreu stops at third. Throw coming into the plate, gets away, but the runners will hold. Backed up by Hardy, and it's 1-0 Chicago.
Blaine Hardy was able to get ahead of Daniel Polka. No balls and 2 strikes, and Polka able to foul off a couple of pitches, and before finally getting that breaking ball that got way too much plate on the inner third. And all he did was drop the barrel of the bat in the hitting zone. Only 1 run's going to score here. Nick Capper, he holds up Abreu, even though the ball was booted momentarily and by Castellanos. It's only the 2nd run that Blaine Hardy has given up in the 1st inning since he's become a starter. Usually he gets off to really good starts, and that run he gave up came in his last start. Did he give a home run to Calhoun first?
He did.
Yeah.
Yep. Here is Kevin Smith. Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. He got ahead of Polka 0-2, and he's been so devastating against left-handed batters. But give Polka some credit. Fouled off a couple of pitches and then comes through. And now the Sox have a 1-0 lead. The double play still gets you out of this mess.
He couldn't get his breaking ball away from Polka.
High towering fly ball to center field. Reyes going back. This will get a run in. All three runners will tag. Abreu comes in from third base, and now the throw into second and a rundown. Now they're going to come home and a run will score. Boy, the Tigers did not play this one well. The tag is finally made on Davidson, but that will score 2 runs. And we'll go to the bottom of the first inning with the Tigers down early. Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. You've got Candelario, Iglesias, and Castellanos. Goodrum batting cleanup, then Vimart, Ducey at first, and a bottom 3, McCann, Gerber, Reyes. They are facing Lucas Giolito tonight. He's presented by MGM Grand Detroit.
And they say that Lucas's velocity's gone up in his last couple of starts. He's been getting up to 95, where he's been right around 92 all year. He's got an elevated earned run average of 6.23, but they're very high on the youngster. They think he's going to be a really good pitcher for a long time. Let's take a look at the Chicago White Sox starting defense. It is brought to you by Tim Hortons. Lamar gets to start in left field today. Engel in center field. He can really play some defense. The former Tiger, Garcia in right field. In the infield, it reads Davidson, Anderson, Sanchez, and Abreu, and Kevin Smith, the battery mate this evening of Lucas Giolito.
So here is Candelario. Tigers down early in this one. They came back from a 3-0 deficit in last night's ball game. Candy at 228. You'll look at his strike on the outer edge, 1-1. Jamer had a couple of walks and a single and a sac fly last night. He was busy.
A lot of the Tigers had really positive nights last night, led by Nicholas Castellanos with 5 hits and 5 RBIs.
Giolito in his last outing was pelted pretty good, gave up 7 runs against the Yankees. Walked 3 batters. The base on balls have been a problem for him this year. Slap foul out of play, 2-2.
When Giolito came out of high school, Harvard Westlake High School in Southern California, he threw 100 miles an hour. Whoa. He really hasn't gotten back to that since coming into pro ball. Shortly after leaving high school, making 1 start in the Gulf Coast League, he had to go through Tommy John surgery.
Tried to catch the outside corner and missed. Now 3-2.
He's got all 4 pitches. Fastball, changeup, curveball, slider in that order. Really has a good changeup.
Pulled on the ground and threw a base hit right by a diving Sanchez, and Jamer is aboard with a leadoff single.
They want to go right back to the rundown play there that allowed them to steal another run that last half inning. Everything is done properly here at the beginning. Victor Reyes gets back on the ball, and he has an idea that the runner on first is going to tag up and try to get to second base, so he throws it to Iggy. The runner stops and goes back, and I want to show you where the Tigers went wrong right here. As soon as you see Ducey start to run with the ball in his hand, you see down here Capra, the third base coach, telling the base runner to go home. One of the reasons why he's doing that is because you have Ducey who runs left-handed, who's got the ball in the left hand. Ducey running back toward the bag would have been very difficult for him to turn and throw the ball home. So as soon as the ball got into Ducey's hands, Capra told Davidson, you go home because it's going to be tough for him to throw you out. Had it been a right-handed guy that threw right-handed, they probably wouldn't have attempted to do it.
They snuck another run because of that, and here is Iglesias. He looks at a strike, 1-1. Iggy in the ball game last night, batting in the 2 slot, had a walk but no hits.
Here's one more look at the Nick Capra, third base coach, and Davidson over there. You see him watching? Now he's going to tell him, now you go now. That's basically when Ducey got the ball in his hand and started running towards second, and you can see Davidson made it home without a play.
Meanwhile, Giolito stopped his motion to the plate. They thought he had balked. Candelario took second, but the home plate umpire Wendelstedt said, no, we gave him time. Iggy just stepped out of the box. Here's the 1-1. 1-2 on Iglesias.
This is what they thought was a balk. But Iglesias had been given timeout. It would have been nice of Hunter Wendelstedt to tell us that.
I know it. He made no indication.
You know what I'm saying?
And Larry Vanover even called it a balk at second base. Now the 1-2. Slap to right field, slicing. Fair ball, gonna go to the corner. This might get a run in. Candelario coming to third. They're gonna stop him there. It's a double for Iglesias, and the Tigers coming right back.
Had a feeling that Iglesias would have a good day today. He did not have a good day yesterday, and usually he does not double that up with back-to-back poor days. It's a breaking ball at the top of the strike zone. He laces it down the right field corner beautifully. Dave Clark not trying to force the issue here, especially with Nicholas Castellanos coming to the plate, a guy who had 5 hits last night and drove in 5, and he's your best RBI guy. You didn't want to run into an out at home plate.
Down 3-0 to Giolito is nothing to be overly concerned about because he has given up a lot of runs this year as Nick looks at a strike. Giolito has had a couple of starts in which he has allowed 7 runs. He's given up 9 runs in the game as well.
Ooh, those are a lot of crooked numbers.
You don't normally see a guy stick around that long. The 0-1. 0-2 now on Nick.
That's a really good breaking pitch here thrown by Giolito. It's a changeup, and a lot of pitchers will not throw that changeup to a right-handed batter, but he located that one beautifully down and in to Castellanos. Here's where Giolito, like a lot of other pitchers in baseball, they will go up top with that fastball, try to see if they can get a swing and miss.
Playing to pull on Nick. 2 on, nobody out. Here's the 1-2. Yanked a bender foul down left field line. Castellanos not only a 5-hit game last night, but he's now 6 for his last 9.
He had a huge smile on his face, as you could imagine, after last night's contest. He had really been going through it after the All-Star break. His batting average was under 200. So those 5 knocks last night couldn't have come at a better time for Nicholas.
Swing and a miss, and he went up top just like you predicted. And it's a strikeout, 1 gone. By the way, if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, simply bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow. Get a free small order of curly fries. So here's Goodrum now with 1 out. Nico was 0 for 4 last night. He was hit by a pitch. Ball 1.
They pitched Nico aggressively inside last night, really knocking him off the plate. He's had a sensational rookie campaign. Lots of stolen bases, lots of extra base hits, 12 homers, and he's driven in nearly 40. Now you can see the velocity of the Giolito fastball back up to 95. He really hasn't been at 95 all season long, so it's very encouraging for the Chicago White Sox to see the velocity of Giolito get there in mid-August.
Giolito earned his first major league win against the Tigers last August. One and two now on Goodrum.
Giolito's parents were Hollywood stars. His dad Rick and his mom Lindsay. His dad was in As the World Turns, Who's the Boss, Twin Peaks. She was in Boston Legal. I used to love Boston Legal.
I never watched that show.
You didn't watch Boston Legal? No. I used to love that show.
Now I did watch Who's the Boss.
Yeah. So he comes from famous parents.
Here's the 1-2. Good block there by Smith behind the dish.
But of course, that school that he went to out in Southern California, Harvard Westlake, is a school that always has a lot of talent. Country club, so to speak.
Kind of place you hung out when you were a kid. 2-2. Up and in. You know, your former surfing buddy, former Tiger Brendan Bosch, went to the same high school.
Yeah, sure did.
Martinez on deck. Tigers got a single and a double to lead things off, but a strikeout of Castellanos. And the 3-2. Nico just got a piece, staying alive.
Another one of those 95-mile-per-hour fastballs. So apparently Giolito having a lot of confidence in that pitch here in the first. I told you he has a pretty good changeup. We saw one to Castellanos.
Wayne Hardy allowed 3 in the top of the first.
Blaine usually does not give up 3 runs in any of his outings.
I don't know, maybe it's me, maybe I'm just imagining it, but it seems like over the last couple of weeks, the Tigers have had some better at-bats. They're fouling pitches off, they're running deep into counts. It seems like they are making some progress in that respect.
I think you're dead on. I've seen the exact same thing. Even when guys fall behind, no balls and 2 strikes, they're still getting back in the count. I mean, they might still strike out, but they are having better at-bats collectively.
Swing and a miss, and down he goes. So after a lengthy battle, Nico is out.
I told you that Giolito has that plus changeup, and he will throw it at any point in time. And after throwing several fastballs to Nico Goodrum, he came right back with that real good changeup. You can see it's a circle change, fading down and away from Nico Goodrum.
Good pitch. 2 outs now, and here is Martinez.
It's going to be up to the veteran Victor Martinez if they're going to score a run in this frame. Victor has better numbers against the Chicago White Sox than he has against any team that he's played against in his major league career.
Skied foul out of play.
Time for StatCast AI powered by AWS, and you can see how they defend Victor when batting left-handed. They've got 3 infielders on the right side of the infield, and that's where most of his balls are hit on the ground. However, when he does hit the ball in the air, he hits the ball the opposite way.
The 0-1.
Do it, Victor.
Slice fair down the line. This will get 2 runs in. Vimart is on his way to second, and he's in there with a Q shot double with 2 outs here in the first.
You have to love Victor Martinez. He simply went up there and he had in his mind that he was going to beat the shift. He saw where they were defending him because they always defend him that way. And look at the approach here. He was going to fight that ball off the opposite way. Now, he didn't know it was going to be sneak right in that third baseline, but he was trying to hit the ball in that direction.
Second double of the series for Victor, now a 3-2 ball game. It'll bring up a Ducey with a chance to tie it up. Ducey, the first baseman tonight, was 1 for 4 in the opener last night.
Say what you will about Victor Martinez. He's 39 years old, not hitting for the kind of power that he's always hit for, but he will give you a quality at bat, and he's pretty much done that the entire second half of the season.
There's a base hit to center. Here comes Martinez rounding third. He's going to rumble home with the tying run. And Jim Ducey comes through with 2 outs. It's a 3-3 game.
Just like that, Tigers back in business. Ducey got himself a breaking ball, or a slider, I think it was, at 87 miles an hour, hit a frozen rope back up the middle and nearly clipped the second base umpire, Larry Vanover. Victor flying home.
Tigers, a pair of 2-out runs, 3 2-out runs to be exact, after Giolito struck out Castellanos in good room. It appeared he was going to wiggle out of the jam. Someone get Vic some oxygen.
I see you, Victor.
Some air.
He needs it all, Putty. He needs it all. He needs it all. My guy.
Tell Vimart going for a nap, I think. I'll see him my next at bat. Here's McCann. James batting .229. Big night last night, 3 out of 4 from McCann. He had 2 singles, a double, 3 runs scored, and threw 2 runners out. He now has 19 catchers caught stealings this year, which is now going to tie him for the lead in the American League with Lucroy and Sal Perez.
Since McCann has come to the big leagues back in 2013, man, he's been one of your better throwing catchers in the majors.
In there, a strike called 0-2. Yeah, he has been up there in throwing runners out since getting to the big leagues. Lucroy and Perez are the 2 only guys that have done it more.
Excuse me, 2015 is when McCann arrived on the show.
Now the 0-2. Swung out and missed. McCann is out. They'll complete the strikeout, and that'll end the inning. But the Tigers come right back. A pair of clutch 2-out knocks. Vimart and Ducey, and it's 3-3. guys to get into the Hall of Fame were Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth, Honus Wagner, Christy Mathewson, and Walter Johnson.
Look at the percentage of votes that Ty Cobb got. He got 98% of the votes. Ruth with 95.
Very impressive first class. It'll be Yolmer Sanchez to get it started here in the second. Bottom three now: Sanchez, Lamar, and Engel. Blaine Hardy gave up 3. Tigers got him right back. That's in there. A strike called. 1-1. Blaine surrendered 3 hits in that first inning. There's the bouncer up the middle. Nico, nice scoop. Squares and throws him out.
Nice athleticism there shown by Nico Goodrum, who was a shortstop by trade. So it's not uncommon for him to be able to go to his left a little bit better than he goes to his right. And he goes over there, picks it up, stops, gathers himself, and fires a strike over to a deucey. Looks like Nico getting more comfortable and more comfortable with each rep that he gets at second base.
Here is Ryan Lamar. The Jackson Lumen Christie product, University of Michigan as well. Lamar was acquired from the Minnesota Twins off the waiver wire. 2-0 the count. Drill deep to left. Chasing Gerber back. He looks up, and that ball is gone. Ryan Lamar has just hit his first major league home run in his hometown of Detroit. And the White Sox have a 4-3 lead. Lamar has plenty of friends and family here in town to see that first homer.
And they're all up cheering, too. How about that?
So very quickly the White Sox regain the lead, and Lamar coming back home does some damage. Here's another ball hit deep to left field. Gerber going back for this one, has room, and Engel is on number 2. Well, that's got to feel great for Lamar coming back here to Comerica.
Oh, no question about that. I mean, a place where you went to high school, you also played your college ball here. You got a lot of family and friends in attendance. It's an 86 mile power fastball, belt high, that got way too much plate, and Lamar didn't miss it. Good swing by the youngster. He's fired up. Kiss to his family and friends.
Two gone now. Here is Tim Anderson.
This one's like a little old-fashioned slugfest at the beginning, partner.
Sure is. The starter, Giolito, for the White Sox threw 30 pitches. Tigers got to him for 3. 1 ball, 1 strike on Anderson.
Anderson has had good numbers this year overall against Detroit pitching, but they slowed him down in last night's contest. He did double his first time up today.
High fly ball, shallow right field for Castellanos. Nick calls it in to retire the side, but the Sox take the lead in the first major league homer for Ryan Lamar. second. It'll be Mike Gerber to lead things off for the Tigers. Lucas Giolito threw 30 first-inning pitches and surrendered a 3-0 lead, but now he's ahead again, 4-3. Gerber, Reyes, and Candelario for the Tigers. Here's the 1-1 pitch. 1-2 on Mike Gerber. Gerber down in the minor leagues this year at Toledo had 12 doubles, 13 home runs. The average was low, but he's a very good defender. 15th round pick out of Creighton a few years back. Tigers giving him his opportunity.
Played center field in college and pretty much has played the corner outfield positions his entire minor league career.
Gerber has even led off this season. Ron Gardenhire put him in there for about a week in the leadoff slot. He had been leading off for a time at Toledo as well.
And when they traded away Leonis Martin, and Ron Gardenhire had to scramble to find another leadoff hitter. He's gone through about 3 or 4 guys.
Got him, strike 3. Gerber didn't like it, but he's out of there.
That's already the 4th strikeout tonight for Giolito.
Well, we're going back to college with Nissan and with Ryan Lamar, who matriculated at the University of Michigan. And boy, was he quite a player there.
Yeah, all Big Ten first team in 2010. And 2-time Big Ten player of the week, too.
2 separate seasons. He led the Wolverines in batting average. Victor Reyes looks at a strike, 0-1. Reyes now a little mini 4-game hitting streak, hitting .226 on the year. Oh, 2. Hey, by the way, stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll be selecting the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's. Oh, 2 on Reyes. Reyes also looking for that first major league home run. His first year in the big leagues as a Rule 5 selection by the Tigers. Here's the 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Now with Martin gone and Jacoby on the DL, you're going to see a lot of Reyes, a lot of Gerber. They'll get their opportunities. The 2-2 in the air toward left center. It'll be Lamar for the out. 2 gone. Speaking of Leonis Martin, Rod, how about the news coming out of Cleveland where Leonis had a bacterial infection of his intestines, which
life-threatening.
Life-threatening.
Yeah, how about that? I mean, just 2 weeks ago he was here and he was playing, he was laughing and having fun, and I didn't know that something was going on.
Well, the word out of Cleveland is the Indians made an announcement today that Leonis is doing better, and so he is not out of the woods yet, but we certainly send our well wishes to Leonis Martin, who is a fun guy to be around, to be sure.
They said he's going to have to be monitored closely for the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Wow. Well, here's Candelario now with 2 outs. He got it rolling in the first inning with a base hit.
It just seems like when Castellanos went off last night with the 5 hits, collectively up and down the lineup, everybody seemed to relax. Other guys started having better at bats, and as the game went on last night, as Nicholas got hits, everybody continued to get hits, and that's how it was the first 2 months of the season.
Back up the middle, and Candy with another base hit. He is swinging a magic wand in this series. Well, the Tigers host the Central Division rivals Chicago White Sox Saturday, August 25th, 6:10 p.m. The first 10,000 fans receive a 1968 50th anniversary Mickey Lolich bobblehead, courtesy of Delta Airlines. If you'd like more ticket information, go to Tigers.com.
We talk a lot about the Hall of Fame, and we will all night tonight. There are a lot of Tiger fans out there that believe that Mickey Lolich should be in Cooperstown with a plaque as well.
He had some really good numbers, over 200 wins in his career. Through a lot of innings, over 300, I should say 3,300 innings.
A lot of complete games. And back in the day, man, they would start one game and then start the doubleheader and finish both of them.
Yeah. They were a different breed back then.
Yes, they were cut from a totally different cloth.
0-2 on Iglesias.
And Jack Morris said that Mickey Lolich set the bar for him in the '68 World Series with the 3 complete games. He wanted to do it in the '84 World Series. He didn't want to win it in 6. He wanted to pitch the 7th game to tie Mickey Lolich. That sounds like Jack.
Well, it sounds like Jack, but I'm sure his teammates were saying, "We
now let's go. Let's go on vacation. Let's go fishing.
Let's go get this ring and go home."
If you want to pitch Game 7, you can come out here by yourself.
0-2 on Iglesias.
Candy's got a healthy lead, but he doesn't run much.
Slow roller. Anderson charging. Quick flip is in time for the out. Inning over, no runs. Tigers get a hit, strand a man. We go to the 3rd. Look forward to the whole true moment later in tonight's game. Blaine Hardy goes back to work. He's got Garcia, Abreu, and Davison. 2, 3, 4. Chicago got 3 in the first, 1 in the second.
One thing that we do admire about Blaine Hardy, he works very quickly. And he only takes about 10 to 12 seconds in between pitches. Outstanding change up there at 73 miles an hour. And thrown to Garcia.
Garcia grounding out 5-3 in his only at bat. He is now 0 for his last 19. Although he did come in torturing left-handed pitching. 395 this year for Javi Garcia. High ball 2. swing and a miss. Down he goes. One away. We check in now with Big York.
Mario, you can pick up a Major League Baseball for a few bucks these days, but did you see this? In our Jeep game break, one of these baseballs was sold yesterday in California at an auction for over $623,000. Why? Well, it was because of the guys you saw earlier in the broadcast. It was signed by the 11 inaugural members of the Baseball Hall of Fame, and an anonymous buyer bought it yesterday for $623,369. Names like Root, Young, Wagner, Cobb, they're all over the hide. And get this, the ball used to belong to former Tigers third baseman Marv Owen, who was present for the original induction ceremony in June of that year and got all 11 players to sign the ball. He got one for himself and another for his teammate, Hank Greenberg. The Owen ball now belongs to a guy with a lot of money. The Greenberg ball apparently has been lost to history. Nobody is aware where it is today.
It's a pretty good foresight by Marv Owen there.
Yes, it was.
He was a genius, yeah.
Yeah, let me get somebody to sign it. These guys to sign this one ball.
I can see anybody left in the Greenberg family going through the attic right now looking for that baseball.
It's got to be somewhere around here. There's the statue of Hank Greenberg.
Swinging Hebrew.
1-2 on Jose Abreu. Outside 2-2.
He's already thrown Abreu a couple of change-ups away. He's already gone inside aggressively with a fastball.
Popped up, heading toward foul territory, out of play.
And that was another off-speed pitch that he stayed away from Abreu. Abreu able to get a piece of it. It's a good night for some ice cream.
Indeed. Every night's a good night for ice cream.
Every night?
Every night.
I was getting a little bit worried about you and Gibby went on the West Coast, man. I mean, every time they took a shot at the booth, man, you guys had cookies and cakes. Ooh, look out, Blend. I see you.
See you later, Abreu. 2 gone.
Man, y'all had cookies and donuts.
Dude,
and
yeah, how about that donut?
Dude, I had everything.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm like, okay. I mean, y'all wasn't eating all that stuff, were you?
No, it was just for show.
This was an outstanding pitch sequence to one of your better right-handed hitters in all of baseball. And he finished him off with that little spike curveball. And Abreu couldn't get the bat off his shoulder. He threw him everything. He threw him change-ups, fastballs, and that really good change-up.
There's a strike called on Matt Davidson. Davidson had a key at bat in that first inning. He blooped a single to center field. Pulled foul, now 0-2.
I just like the way that even though Hardy does not throw 95 miles an hour, he's not afraid to use his fastball inside to his advantage. Now, will he go in there often? Probably not, but at least you can show some of these big, strong, physical hitters like Davidson and Abreu that you will go in there. Are they going back in there again?
Nope, missed it outside, 1-2.
I think they wanted it in there, and he just overthrew it. Fastball in. See, last 2 fastballs he's overthrown. That's why he has not been able to get the balls inside, which happens at this level. You get amped up, try to do too much.
Got him, strike 3, and Blaine Hardy strikes out the side here in the 3rd. Which 2 Tigers Hall of Famers had their number retired the same day? We'll tell you next.
On this date in 1937 at Nathan Field, the Tigers swept a double dip against the St. Louis Browns, 16-1 and 20-7. The 36 runs Detroit put on the board established an American League record for runs scored in a twin bill. It stood for more than 70 years. Tigers Hall of Famers Charlie Gehringer and Hank Greenberg went 11 for 18 that day with 9 ribbies, 6 walks, 2 homers combined. Craig Monroe, almost as good as what Nick Castellanos did yesterday.
Nicholas Castellanos put on a hitting clinic yesterday. Loved the way he was swinging the bat. But Shep, I have to give you a little nugget. Did you know that I was tied with Hank Greenberg for the second most home runs in Tigers history?
You told us that in Tigers Live pregame.
How
Fellas,
cool
that's an
is that?
impressive. That's a really cool and impressive stat, isn't it?
Well, I felt cool anyway.
You are cool.
No, not really.
How about those cool cats up in the booth, guys?
Simo, man, I'm telling you, you gotta start taking some responsibility for some of the stuff you've done, man. That's a great nugget.
That's pretty impressive.
It is, man.
Yeah.
It's cool as a player, I must admit, to see Hank Greenberg, number retired, his name on the wall out there. Obviously, all the other greats. Horton, you got Morris now. K-Line, Mr. K. It's just a beautiful thing that I have in my back pocket.
Absolutely.
I didn't get a chance to see Hank Greenberg play, but I knew him personally. His father, his son, Steve Greenberg, used to represent baseball players, young baseball players back in 1977. And I happened to choose him as my agent. And one of the things that he used to do all the time he would take me over to the Beverly Hills Country Club, and we would sit down and have lunch with his dad and Walter Matthau. So here I am, 17 years old, 18 years old. I really don't know who Hank Greenberg is from the Man in the Moon. And I really wasn't paying that much attention to Walter Matthau either, as Nico pops up for the second out of the inning. But lo and behold, as I came to know both gentlemen at that age, I was in awe of that. That was unbelievable.
Well, Hank Greenberg, Hall of Fame class in '56, and his number retired in '83. And some of the action that number 5 put together in a Tigers uniform.
I have a feeling his son Steve used to use his dad to court a lot of his potential clients.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Oh, there's no
I'm sure I'm
doubt
not
he
the
did.
first guy that rolls through that Beverly Hills Country Club.
Hey, sit down here. By the way, here's my dad, Hank.
Him and his Walter Matthau and his dad were very competitive tennis players. They had a tennis date every single day.
Here's V-Mart.
You ever played any tennis?
I did when I was younger. I really enjoyed it.
It's a good hand-eye coordination
Yeah.
sport.
Now I'm afraid I would hurt something. Chopper back up the middle. Anderson will make the play, and V-Mart is out. Going to be a 1-2-3 for Giolito. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire. Sox. It'll be Daniel Palka to lead things off. Blaine Hardy really straightened things out, striking out the side in the third. Not only that, but he went through the 2, 3, and 4 hitters.
And he punched out Abreu and Davidson looking.
Slow roller. Hardy makes a nice play but throws it away. They're going to try and get him to second base, and they will, as Palka cruises into second, and the leadoff man now in scoring position.
That is the 5th hit of the series for Palka. It's going to go as a base hit in an air on Blaine Hardy.
Ducey unable to backhand that ball out of the dirt. It's Palka now in scoring position. Here's Kevin Smith, who had a sac fly plus an RBI in the first. Fourth hit of the game for Chicago. Swing and a miss.
And we'll see if Kevin Smith is up there trying to at least get Palka over to third base with less than 2 outs. And this situation right here is a situation that usually, and nobody out, you're trying to get that guy over by trying to hit something to the right side of the infield or hit it through the right side of the infield.
Instead he pulls it.
Not going to do it.
I'll tell you what, man, it's
mind-boggling.
It really is. I mean, I know and I understand how the way the game is being played is changing, Rod. It really is.
And we were even overshifting him. I mean,
right.
he had the whole right side of the infield was open. But give Blaine Hardy some credit too, because he threw a pitch up there, and the pitch that he threw was an off-speed pitch. And usually, as a right-handed hitter, if you get that off-speed pitch, you're prone to rolling over on it. So, just give Blaine some credit too.
Here is Yolmer Sanchez.
Yolmer's done some pretty nice work against Tigers pitching this year. And they got him out his first time up. Nico Goodrum made a real nice play. But he's had a really nice season series against Tigers pitching.
Chop left side, diving try Candelario. It's off his glove. That'll move Palka to third base. An infield single for Sanchez.
Yeah, one step in the dive right off the glove of Jeimer Candelario. Had he come up with it cleanly, he would have been able to get to his feet and possibly throw Sanchez out at first. Good base running by Palka.
Here's Ryan Lamar.
Did you know that Daniel Palka came into play tonight hitting .429 against Tiger pitching this season?
I did not. Really?
Yeah. So he's up around .460 now.
And Palka has 2 more hits in this game, both singles. There's a strike called on Lamar.
And Lamar got him a fastball right down the middle his last time up and hit his first home run of his major league career. And probably did not feel his feet underneath him as he rounded the bases.
I'm sure he didn't.
It's a surreal feeling. He grew up here, went to college here, and he's got a lot of family and friends in attendance. It doesn't get much better than that for a professional player.
He cleared the bullpen on that thing as well.
Yeah, he did.
So it was not a wall scraper.
Now he can hit a ground ball and we'll be even.
Strike call now 0-2. Blaine gets ahead. Lamar had 4 stints with Minnesota prior to being let go by the Twins and picked up by the White Sox in July. Here is part of the group of family and friends for Lamar.
If I was a guessing man, I would say that's probably Grandpa right there.
Michigan hat?
Yeah. Just a guess.
The 0-2. The University of Michigan has produced quite a few really good ball players over the years. Some Hall of Famers. Barry Larkin went to Michigan.
Yeah.
Bill Freehan, of course, a great Tiger. Jim Abbott went to Michigan. A lot of really good players.
What a great story he was. Unbelievable story. For those of you that do not know the Jim Abbott story, he pitched basically with one hand. Wasn't that remarkable?
Well, and he also threw a no-hitter in the big leagues too. So
yeah, he did.
It's just the most incredible baseball story. One and two on Lamar. 4-3. Sox trying to add to their lead here in the fourth.
And Blaine Hardy trying to make sure Yomer Sanchez does not get an idea of stealing second base.
Swing and a miss. Down he goes. Another strikeout for Blaine Hardy. Celebrate Tigers great and 2018 Hall of Fame inductee Alan Trammell when the Tigers retire his number prior to the August 26th game against Chicago. It'll be a 1:10 p.m. start. First 10,000 fans receive an Alan Trammell 1984 replica road jersey. Go to Tigers.com for more info.
They're fired up.
The camera will do that to you. Two away now, and that'll bring up Adam Engel. Engel fly deep to left his first time up. Hit a ball out of the ballpark last night. A long home run. He also doubled in the game. The 0-1. Engel, good speed, has 12 stolen bases this year. He credits a lot of his success to their third base coach, Nick Capra. Capra never really played a lot in the big leagues, but in the minor leagues, he was a prolific base stealer.
Played against Nick Capra a lot of years in the minor leagues. He was one of those guys that had a very long minor league career, just like myself. Over 10 years.
Capra in the minors stole over 40 bases, 400 bases, I should say. So you got to be around a while to do that.
Good little infielder.
Ground ball up the middle, but Nico has it. And the throw is in time to get Engel, and the rally fizzles for Chicago. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Hall of Fame themed broadcast tonight. How about Hal Newhouser, class of 1992, had his number 16 retired in 1997.
And during his 15 years in a Tigers uniform, he made 7 All-Star teams and led the league in victories 4 separate times.
You know, we had JV win the MVP here a couple of years ago. Newhouser is the only pitcher to have done it twice, back-to-back, I should say.
He was one of those guys that was pitching 300+ innings a season too.
1944, 1945 for number 16, Hal Newhouser. Ducey, McCann, Gerber here in the 4th inning.
Ducey had a solid single back in the 1st inning, and driving in Victor Martinez, who had doubled and drove in 2 runs with 2 outs. Ducey getting most of the reps at first base with John Hicks on the disabled list.
Got action. It's Zach McAllister heating up in the Tigers bullpen.
Makes you wonder, is something going on with Blaine, or is his pitch count up as high as it might be?
Hardy right now at 57, so that's not very high. One and 2 on Ducey. 44 RBIs at Toledo this year. Had a really good season at AAA. He'll spray another one foul. Jim's dad played the big leagues briefly with a couple of teams, including Milwaukee, the Phillies. And a baseball fan for life with a souvenir.
And his little brother just as happy for his brother.
Chopped to first base. And covering is Giolito. 1 away in the 4th. If you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app and take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go. It's made available by Oakland University. So Giolito has settled in now after that rocky 3-run first. Now McCann.
Giolito really likes to throw that changeup to the right-handed batters. And most righties really love to throw the changeup to the lefties. Here's the way that they play McCann. You can see Abreu. He is 20 feet off that first base line, and not many balls go down in this area off the bats of right-handers, and that's why they feel like they could cut off that other hole over on the right side of the infield where the second baseman is usually standing.
Prior to the trade, Giolito was the #1 prospect in the Nationals organization. When he joined the White Sox, he became their #2 prospect. But this kid was very, very highly thought of coming over in the Adam Eaton deal.
Yeah, I told you he used to throw 100 miles an hour. He hasn't gained that velocity back yet, but 95 is not bad. He's got a nice body on him, nice tall frame, nice easy delivery.
Chopper up the middle on the backhand there, Sanchez. They had him played up the middle. They take a base hit away. 2 gone in the Tigers' 4th. And now 6 in a row retired by Giolito. Here is Mike Gerber. Gerber struck out in the 2nd, trying to snap it 0 for 16 right now. And now 0-2.
And with Gerber's speed, he should not go 0 for 16. He should try to utilize his speed by laying down a bunt for a hit at some point in time, just to get that hit. He's got good speed.
Swing and a miss, and he dusted him on 3 pitches. 1-2-3 frame. When we return, we'll take a look back at 1980 when Mr. Tiger Al Kaline was inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Wanted it any other way. Your support helped me to reach whichever accomplishments I was able to achieve. By far, being inducted into the Hall of Fame is the proudest moment in my life. You can be sure that I will make every effort to live up to the obligations associated with this honor. Thank you.
That was Mr. Tiger's induction speech. Al Kaline played in 18 All-Star games as a Detroit Tiger.
Won 10 Gold Gloves and a batting title at the tender age of 19.
And he's got a statue and a corner.
He's got it all going.
He does. And he deserves it. Tim Anderson leads it off here in the 5th inning. Tigers have gone to the bullpen now, so Blaine Hardy is out of the game, and the newly acquired Zach McAllister in a Wallside Windows pitching change.
And McAllister's got a fastball that will get all the way up to 98 miles an hour. He also has a breaking ball. Pretty much just a 2-pitch pitcher these days, pitching out of the bullpen.
Anderson sprays one the other way, a leadoff single, and we bring in Mickey York.
You know, it's hard to believe it was 38 years ago that Al Kaline gave his Hall of Fame speech. He said he was never a very good speech giver and doesn't recall a whole lot from it, but does remember looking out into the audience and seeing his father.
I was very worried about my dad. It was very hot that day. He had a jacket on. I keep wanting him to take his jacket off, and he wouldn't do it because he wore suspenders back in those days. He didn't want to show his suspenders, and no, it was very emotional, and the one thing I remember saying when my mother told me that we want you to have fun because you're going to work the rest of your life. I said, Mom, you were wrong. I played baseball.
Al came from a hard-working family, very humble beginnings. He said if he couldn't play baseball, he probably would have been in the factory next to his father. He was so very proud to be able to share that day with them, guys.
Well, I will say this about Al Kaline as Garcia goes up the middle with the base hit. I was listening to Alan Trammell talk about his speech and the days leading up to his speech, and he said there was never really anything I did on the field that I was more nervous for than that speech in Cooperstown.
No question.
I mean, you want to get it right. A lot of preparation goes into it, and Al did a terrific job. And
yeah, baseball's the easiest part for these guys. I mean, this is what they've grown up doing all their lives.
Well, the White Sox are at it again now. They've got runners at first and third for Abreu.
Yeah, they shifted on Anderson. They also overshifted on Garcia, and both guys with base hits beating the shift. They're not overshifting on Abreu, however.
He'll go down the right field line. That's a fair ball. That'll get a run in. It goes all the way to the wall. They might try and score Garcia. Here he comes. And the throw is held up. It's a double and 2 RBIs for Jose Abreu.
How about the 3 hits by the top 3 hitters in their lineup against McAllister? All 3 the opposite way. And this is a 2-seam fastball that's barreling in on Abreu. He just hits the ball the other way on the ground, and that ball got all the way to the wall, which gives you an idea of how hard it was hit.
Still nobody out. 3 straight hits for Chicago, and here is Matt Davidson. It'll drop in for a strike. 0-1. 6-3. Chicago now in the lead. They've got 8 hits on the board. Davidson single and a strikeout. Blaine Hardy goes 4 innings and throws 57 pitches. Strike called. 0-2.
You think something going on with him, or you think they had planned on just 57 pitches tonight?
Well, I didn't hear Gardy say anything about limited pitch count. We'll see if we get any word. The 0-2. He went around. Strike 3 called. They'll throw down to get the out, and Davidson retired. He fans for the 2nd time.
Here's the 3 hits that has allowed them to score the runs here. You see where they're defending. You see where Nico is. Now, that's Anderson. He beats the shift. And here's Garcia. He also beats the shift. Not so much of a shift here on Abreu, but he simply hits the ball hard in that direction and drives in a couple of more runs. So you got to give the White Sox credit. I mean, they've overshifted on them, and they've simply hit some balls where they weren't. Victor Martinez also beat the shift earlier today. And really, Mario, these shifts aren't going to go away until the players start trying to beat them a little bit more frequently.
But I think, Rod, it's going to take for them to do it a lot before you start to see the numbers shift. And it's all based on the numbers. So, yeah, it's not going to go away, at least for the foreseeable future, I would think. But the 3 hits, Anderson, Garcia, and Abreu, will affect their numbers now just a little bit.
You think they're overshifting in college these days?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think so. I don't know.
Well, you should be preparing them for it, right?
That's a good point. The 1-1. That'll get away. Advance the runner. Abreu will scoot to third on a wild pitch. Chicago tonight is 4 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Well, actually 4 for 10 now after the strikeout of Davidson. Infield coming in now for the Tigers. 2-1 on Palka.
He doesn't get cheated, does he?
He just doesn't.
He does not get cheated.
He is up there slashing hard. 2-2. He went around. So big strikeout there for McAllister. That is 6 strikeouts for Tigers pitching tonight. Spartans Fox Sports Detroit University days are back. Time to head to Comerica Park on August 24th. Tigers take on the White Sox. Show your school spirit. Special packages include a game ticket, Tigers cap in green and white, and a donation back to your school. Tigers.com/MSU. Got the Grizzlies in the house tonight. Oakland University is here. Here's another ball hit down the right field line, and that is a foul ball. It's close. Smith tried to go the other way.
Yeah, Rick Renteria, the manager of the White Sox, has to do a lot of teaching. And just like Ron Gardenhire does. And both teams rebuilding, giving all their young players an opportunity to play this year and to mature and to get better. Takes a special individual to oversee a rebuild from a manager's standpoint.
Patience. Need a ton of it.
And he's got a lot of it. Players love playing for him.
Smith a sac fly to not get a run in the first. He bounced out in the fifth inning. The fourth rather. Batting here in the fifth now with 2 outs. Another one back out of play. Well, it's been a long year for the White Sox. They have really underperformed coming into the season. I think a lot of folks thought this might be one of the surprise teams in the American League.
I heard that a lot coming into the season.
But they are 42-76. Good block by McCann. See where the Orioles the other night were automatically, or I should say eliminated from playoff contention.
Already?
And well, this is August 13th. It happened a couple of nights ago.
They're 50 games out.
They are.
They are 50 games out of first place.
That's kind of bleak. Slice to right field on a line. Castellanos runs it down. 2 runs in for Chicago on the double by Abreu. Other notable Tigers in the Hall of Fame: Mickey Cochran, who also managed the Tigers, Sam Crawford, Harry Heilman, among others. George Kell, great third baseman.
Yes.
Heidi Manouche and Huey Jennings. A couple of great nicknames on that list. Sam Wahoo Crawford and
Wahoo.
Slug Heilman. They used to call him because he was so slow, but he could hit.
Sounds like it could go for both. Slug is a hitter.
That's
Slug
right.
because you
Right.
slow of feet too, slow of foot.
0-1 the count on Victor Reyes. 0-2 now on Victor.
And Giolito's kind of settled in very nicely after the 3 runs that he gave up in the first inning. His pitch count is at 69 as we speak, and he's thrown 52 strikes.
There is a Twitter poll going on right now where you can vote for your favorite Tigers Hall of Famer's nickname. Chopper up the middle. How about that? An 0-2 single to center.
Victor Reyes continues to get better, and with each day that Ron Gardenhire pencils them into the lineup, and he shows you some flashes of the tools that he has. Hit the ball on the ground and use your legs. The thing about that pitch right there, Giolito had just thrown him that same breaking ball on the previous pitch, and he went right back to it, and that's just a nice adjustment there by the youngster Victor Reyes as to adjusting to the second curveball that he saw. Candy's having a nice day. 2 for 2.
He's having a nice series. Last night, Candelario was on a total of 3 times. He walked twice, singled, sac fly.
Over shifting Candy on the infield. You can see Anderson Sanchez and also Abreu on the right side.
Talking last night about how you've got to be real comfortable hitting with 2 strikes in the count if you want to be a patient hitter up here. And Candelario certainly is one of those guys not afraid to get 2 strikes in the count.
He's never in a hurry to swing the bat, and that means he does have a lot of confidence.
Ground ball up the middle. Anderson going to scoop it, tag the runner 1. Quick flip, not in time. What a play by Anderson.
Nice job by Victor Reyes, though. If that guy's going to try to tag you, well, the one thing that you don't let Anderson do is just politely tag you and then get the out. So what Victor Reyes did is he just kept running, and he kind of ran into him and made sure that he didn't finish the play. No harm, no foul. To be honest with you, Victor Reyes could have ran right through him and he wanted to.
1 on, 1 out, and here is Iglesias.
It's a nice job by Victor because that keeps the inning going. That would have been a double play. Remember that time when Fernando Vigna was playing for the Milwaukee Brewers, and he tried to politely tag Albert Bell, who was playing for the Cleveland Indians, in a similar type play?
Bell knocked him into the bullpen.
Oh, man. It was unbelievable.
It really was a crazy play.
Unbelievable. I mean, he just walked over. You're going to tag him casually.
Right.
And Joey Bell knew.
No. Albert Bell. Don't call him Joey.
Man.
0-2 on Iglesias.
If you've never seen that, you got to Google it.
It really was wicked.
It was violent.
Giolito now at 75. He had a 30 pitch first, but since then has been really good. Now the 0-2. Iglesias fishing.
You know, Iglesias don't strike out very often. Talking about Victor Reyes on that play right there. How about this play last night on the swim move? He looked like he was out on a ball that went down the line. Throw by Avi Garcia to second base. But look at the slide here. Ball clearly beat him here, but he went down the no swim move over the glove of Anderson.
Here's Castellanos. Nicholas 0 for 2, strikeout, ground out. Six runs on 8 Chicago hits, 3 runs on 6 Tigers hits. Right back up the middle, but they had him played nicely. Sanchez tags the bag for the force. And And the inning is over. We shall go to the 6th.
Seven numbers retired by the Tigers. George Kell is not one of them because in part he wore two numbers, number 21 and number 7 here for Detroit. He was the best third baseman of the 40s and 50s. He won a batting crown. He was a 10-time All-Star. He's a Hall of Famer, but he doesn't get talked a lot about, guys, and I wonder why that is. Maybe it's just because of the position and because of some of the other third basemen that have come after him in all of baseball. But when you bat 300 or better 9 times in your career, and you win a batting crown in 1949, that enshrinement, 1983, very special for anybody who followed him, not just as a baseball player, but remember, and you guys know this as well as anybody, he was so good at calling Tigers baseball from 1959 through 1996, fellas.
Oh, he really was. And, you know, he was, I don't know, I want to say underrated, but a lot of people talk about the offense of George Kell, but he had a very strong, accurate arm, led the league in fielding percentage among third basemen quite a bit.
Had great hands, right, Mario?
He really did.
And a great broadcaster.
But I think a lot of folks in my generation and Shep's generation do only remember him as an announcer, and man, he could do that too. Great George Kell.
Isn't that why you love, I mean, just reading up on these guys? I mean, this is why a Hall of Fame night like tonight is so cool, because you get to know about guys maybe you didn't know before.
No doubt. And they are an important part of the history of the game, but it's always good to know your history. And the Tigers have a ton of that.
Rich history here.
2-2 on Yolmer Sanchez. Got a George Kell home run call all queued up, just ready to bring it out.
Ready?
We're going to bust that thing out here momentarily. Sanchez will get things started, then Lamar and then Engel. We're in the 6th inning. Now McAllister again with the 2-2. High, ball 3. Single ground out for Yolmer Sanchez. Chicago 3 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the 5th. Tigers scored all 3 in the first. And he got him. Strike called. Sanchez out of there. 1 away, and here's that George Kell home run call we promised.
Hit and run, bunt, whatever. There's a long belt in deep right center. And we got a tie ball there. Almost to the same spot as he hit it yesterday. They're going to have to start marking some seats out in center field for Kemp. Second one in 2 days in right center field, and no question about either one.
Goosebumps, man.
Hey, Chef, how lucky were we growing up in this town
I know.
listening to Ernie Harwell and George Kell?
Yeah, and my kids listening to you guys. Listen, Steve Kemp was a USC guy, right?
Yes, he was.
He was a USC Trojan?
He was.
He was a tough son of a gun, wasn't he?
He could hit the ball a long way. Every time he swung the bat, his helmet used to fly off. Remember that?
Yeah, he had a violent swing, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was as violent as Jason Thompson was smooth.
Rooftop.
Kemper was up in the booth here a couple of years ago, and I was just amazed at the shape he is
Oh, he's
still
in good shape, man. I see him every year down in the fantasy camp down in Florida, and you're absolutely right. He is in great shape.
2-0 on Lamar.
He got one of the bodies like Shep. Lives in the weight room.
2-1 now on Ryan Lamar. Homered in the second inning, his first big league homer, and it comes here in Detroit. Jackson Lumen Christie High School, and then on to University of Michigan. Sox now have homered in 21 of their last 23 games. Three and one on Lamar. McAllister took over in the fifth inning. Allowed a two-run double to Abreu. That'll find the seats. Same two teams here tomorrow. Then the Tigers have a very short 4-game trip into Minneapolis to take on the Twins.
It's funny, Minnesota just left here. And when we get back home, the White Sox will be coming back.
It's a weird schedule. The next 2 weeks, really a heavy dose of Minnesota, Chicago. But that's okay because the Tigers have played well within the division. Tigers 500 against the Central. Played much better at home than on the road. That road record has kept them from being competitive. They were early on in the season. The Tigers went into Cincinnati and started an 11-game losing streak, which kind of turned the season the other way.
That came out of nowhere.
I agree.
Out of nowhere.
We're what, 1 game under 500 at that point?
Absolutely.
Down the right field line, slicing toward the corner. Castellanos will watch it sail into the seats.
You know, one of the things that some of the managers like to do when you're clearly out of it and you're not going to go to the postseason, what you try to do to keep your team motivated is you create divisions with other teams in baseball that have similar records as your record. And what you do is you just kind of compete and you kind of have your own division, and you just kind of give your guys that incentive to go out there and just continue to finish the season off. Buck Showalter did that out in Arizona. I thought it was pretty cool.
Keep them engaged.
Yep. Not that they're not supposed to be engaged anyway, but just another way to, you know, keep guys going. You start your own little playoff race. He's giving him a battle.
Now McAllister is up to 34 pitches.
Most of those strikes.
This right now is an 8-pitch at bat for Lamar. Got under that one and popped it straight up. Candelario, foul ground. 2 gone. Hey, the Tigers take on the Cubs in a 2-game interleague series on Tuesday and Wednesday, the 21st and 22nd of August, both 7:10 p.m. starts. Tickets still available, 866-66-TIGER or Tigers.com.
If you want to see one of the more dynamic players in the game of baseball today, then you don't want to miss that Cubs series. Javi Baez is a terrific, tremendous young infielder that plays for the Cubs. It's a dynamite player.
And a team full of really good young players, although they are becoming more and more veterans with each year. Rizzo's and Bryant's. Swing and a miss.
Did you hear when we were in Chicago when I was interviewing Joe Madden where he says he takes Javier Baez and he places him in the infield where they think there will be the most ground balls hit that day?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Joe's been an innovative guy ever since he's been in professional baseball, and I think he's kind of forward thinking. Why not?
I mean, the other day Hamill pitching. And Hamilton, they had him at third base because a lot of the right-handers hit balls at third base.
Yeah. The 0-2, swing and a miss, up top, chased it, down he goes. Well, he was a Hall of Fame person with a Hall of Fame voice. We look back at Ernie Harwell's eloquent speech from Cooperstown in 1981 next.
I think in two famous quotations, one from a left-handed New York Yankee pitcher and the other one from a right-handed English poet. The Yankee pitcher Lefty Gomez once said, "I'd rather be lucky than good." And the poet Alfred Lord Tennyson once wrote in his epic poem Ulysses, "I am a part of all that I have met." Well, I know that I'm a lot luckier than I'm good. Tongue-tied kid from Georgia, growing up to be an announcer and praising the Lord for showing him the way to Cooperstown. This is a game for America. Still a game for America, this baseball. Thank you.
Our 1-800-CALL-SAM call to the game. Ernie Harwell, part of his acceptance speech in Cooperstown, and Mr. Harwell's name out in the right field wall.
From Georgia, Mr. Ernie Harwell, and so is Nico Goodrum, who just singled sharply through the right side of the infield. I've never met anybody that as genuine, that spoke with such eloquence, that treated people with the utmost respect as Ernie Harwell. I've never met anybody like Ernie Harwell, nor do I think I will ever meet anybody like Ernie Harwell.
Ernie, to me, was amazing in that, as you mentioned, he was from Georgia, and you know, he came from really kind of a different background. He came from the South, came up here to the North, and was accepted immediately, and captivated Tigers fans for many years.
Which is not always the case.
Nope. Nope.
But
it
was the way that he carried himself.
Runner goes and a ground ball back towards second, knocked down by Sanchez, and he's thrown out in time. Tigers now have 2 men on.
And Nico Goodrum was on the run, and Victor hit a smash towards second base. Yomer Sanchez left his feet, knocked it down. But by the time he gathered himself and flipped it over to Abreu, Victor crossing the bag with his second base hit of the evening. Tigers in business here now in the 6th against Giolito. Oh, Victor, man, he got them legs rolling tonight, doesn't he?
He came huffing and puffing around third and scored a run in the first. Here is Ducey. Ducey had an RBI single in the first inning to tie the game. Fouled back out of play 0-1. Tigers got a couple of really big hits in that first. They had 2 on, nobody out, but then strikeouts of Castellanos and Goodrum. And it looked like Giolito was about to pitch out of the jam, but then Victor knocked in 2. And Ducey tied it up with a base hit.
And Giolito doing a nice job with his first pitch strikes. He is 16 of 24. And that's allowed him to get to that changeup and that curveball. Thrown a lot of breaking pitches. And his fastball, the velo on the fastball, has been up to 95 tonight. Here's the mix. And 52% he's gone with the fastball today. He's used that curveball 16% of the time, and we had a feeling that he would use the changeup the most of the secondary pitches. This is probably his second best pitch. Here's our Xfinity high-speed pitch on Lucas Giolito. 95 top fastball. He has hit that a couple times.
Coming into the year, Giolito, according to Baseball America, had the best curveball in their minor league organization. We've seen it on display a little bit here tonight. Tigers have the tying run at the plate here in the 6th. That'll move him out of there. 2-2 now on a Ducey.
And more than likely, Giolito is going to go with that changeup, that circle change. He's going to try to fade it away from a Ducey.
Buck Farmer in the Tigers bullpen.
If you're a Ducey, you have to stay on your fastball because he does have 95 in his back pocket. If he throws you an off-speed pitch, you just have to adjust.
Pickoff throw and back in there.
That's a good play by Giolito and Anderson. You don't want to make sure that Nico gets too big a lead out there at second base. Make sure he knows what you're doing. Nico also a middle infielder, so he could very easily look in, Mario, because he's been out there for about 5 or 6 pitches. And if he wanted to steal a base, he could pick a curveball out very easily because he's already seen everything that they're doing.
Now 3-2 on a Ducey.
They can't run him here, I don't think. Well, as a matter of fact, no, they can't.
No, down 3 here. 3-2. Look out.
Dave Clark.
Tigers last night 5 for 12 with runners in scoring position. They got it done last night. They are 2 for 4 tonight.
Yeah, they fed off of Nicholas Castellanos' night last night. They had 12 hits as a team.
Chop foul. You know, for a guy, Giolito, that has had trouble throwing strikes at times this year with a ton of strikeouts, or a ton of walks, I should say. It's about 5 walks per 9. Of his 89 pitches, 67 are strikes.
He's doing a nice job today. That's a real nice ratio.
He walked him, ball 4, and that's going to load the bases. Nobody out. First walk of the ball game for Giolito. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. For tires and auto service, everybody needs a Bell Tire guide. And by Chevrolet, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall. Here's the statue of Al Kaline, who, by the way, is currently winning the Twitter poll. Vote for your favorite Tigers Hall of Fame nickname and Twitter at Fox Sports DET. Mr. Tiger Al Kaline.
So that's what they're voting on, the favorite nickname.
Yep.
It doesn't get much purer than that, Mr. Tiger.
All right, big chance now for the Tigers. They have them loaded, nobody out. And James McCann coming up, a strikeout and a ground out in this game.
If you're McCann, you're looking for one pitch in one location, something that you can loft deep enough into the outfield for a sacrifice fly. You don't want to get greedy, just do your job. And if you take that kind of approach, a lot of times you'll get rewarded by hitting the ball hard somewhere.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. In the air, shallow right field, not going to be able to score on Garcia's arm. And the runners will hold. McCann is out. One gone. They've got action. Chase Fry warming up in the bullpen, the left-hander. Here is Mike Gerber. He is punched out twice tonight against Giolito. Ooh, good block there by Smith. So Giolito now is up to 93 pitches. 104 is his season high.
And Gerber has not been able to stay back on that changeup that Giolito has thrown a lot today to the left-handed batters, and he's thrown quite a few to the righties too. And we showed you he's thrown it 17% of the time so far. And here's that grip. And you can see the little circle right there.
Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Gerber is down on strikes. 2 gone now. Bases remain full. That'll bring up Victor Reyes. So if you're Giolito now, you know you're probably going to empty the tank right here.
Yeah, this is probably his last batter of the game. And regardless of what happens, if you're Rick Renteria, you're not going to leave him in there to get a loss. If Reyes gets a base hit.
Ball 1. Tigers had not scored since the first when they got 3, and they scored all 3 of them with 2 outs. In there, a strike called. 1-1 right in the inside part of the plate. Goodrum started with a single. Martinez with an infield single, and then a walk to Adduci. Popped up left side of the infield, and Giolito's going to pitch out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam.
Boy, oh boy.
Tigers lead 3. We go to the 7th.
To nothing in the top half of the first, but they came back storming in their bottom half of the first frame. Victor Martinez with a double down the left field line. He drove in a couple, then Adduci drove in one. Ryan Lamar, his first major league home run, he untied the score in the 5th, and Jose Abreu with a couple of runs driven in the 5th, and that's where we sit right now. White Sox 6, Tigers 3.
So it's a wall-side windows pitching change now, and Buck Farmer is coming out for the Tigers.
Yeah, Buck has pitched 51 innings this year, pitched in 51 games. And 48 strikeouts, he's walked 30. Buck has kind of solidified himself in that bullpen. I mean, not necessarily at the back end, but I mean, if you need somebody to go in for you in the 5th and the 6th, and sometimes even the 7th, man, Buck has done nice work lately.
And you need those guys.
He can eat up some innings. He's a former starter. He can get left-handers out better than he can get righties out.
On the ground slowly toward Iglesias. Quick flip is in time. Anderson is out.
It's a nice play by Iglesias. He knew he had to hurry with the speed of Anderson running down the line.
Avisail Garcia, who in his last at bat singled in the 5th and snapped an 0 for 20 slump.
He also came around to score on the double off the bat of Jose Abreu, who's in the on-deck circle. Tigers pretty much have slowed down Abreu this year. He's batting only .230 this season, coming into play after hitting nearly .400 in his career against Tigers pitching.
The 1-0. 2-0 at Garcia.
What if I told you that right-handers are hitting .359 against Buck, and
no way
left-handers are hitting only .160 against him?
I would not believe you. Little soft pop up, Iglesias, Nico Goodrum with a diving play, and he holds on.
What athleticism!
Usually in the area of Iglesias, he's the only guy that's going to be able to make that play, and Nico Goodrum came flying out of nowhere.
Yeah, Nico, like, if I'm not getting any hits, you ain't getting none either, and he makes an acrobatic, unbelievable play.
of flavor you got on that snow cone?
Cherry.
You know, to hold on to this ball after falling violently like that, pretty good.
And something else about that play right there, Mario, Nico doesn't make that play. I mean, usually he's on the other side of the bag, and you don't make plays like that, and he's just learning the position. He's a really good athlete. As a matter of fact, he's a 5-tool player. And we've seen flashes of all those tools this season.
I am really jumping ahead here, and because so much can happen in the offseason. But going into spring camp next year, where do you see him fitting in?
Well,
tough question.
He'll be a starter. He'll be a starter at some position. Now, whether they want to fill another spot in the infield with somebody else, a true infielder that they have in their system, because they have a lot of them, or put him in the outfield somewhere. But he's earned, if he continues to play like this, hey, he's earned a spot on the roster for sure, and possibly in the starting lineup.
He's been great. Abreu hitting now with 2 outs.
As a matter of fact, the last couple of days, Nico Goodrum has been here early working with Ramon Santiago on the finer points of playing that second base position. Of course, Ramon Santiago was a shortstop by trade, and he transitioned nicely into a second baseman as we get one more look at that real nice play that number 28 is able to make. There's Ramon. He had that sneaky power. The back of them numbers on Buck Farmer, they're startling. I mean, right-handers are hitting 200 points higher against them than lefties. I mean, talk about extreme reverse splits.
Well, and that may have been a reason why, although Ron Gardenhire was not comfortable without having a lefty in the bullpen, because he's gone through a couple of stretches without a lefty. At least you had a guy like Buck that could get lefties out.
Yep.
And so that softened the blow a little bit. Two and 2 on Abreu. Got him, strike 3, and Abreu not a fan of that call, but he's out of there. Nico, great play. And coming up, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch.
Horton is a Hall of Famer. He shared a funny story about his statue with me here earlier today. He said the Tigers called him and told him they were going to retire his number, and then said, you know that statue we're building out in left field? He said, yeah. He goes, that's for you. Well, he was driving at the time. He had to pull off the road to compose himself. He said the first call he made was not to his wife, but to his former teammate, Gates Brown. He said, Gates, they're going to retire me, not my number. He said, yeah, we know that, Willie. He goes, yeah, they're also giving me a statue. And the gate said, Willie, have you been drinking? We had a good chuckle about that this afternoon. Willie says every time he walks by this statue, he's overcome with emotion. And in typical Willie Horton fashion, guy said it's not about him. It's about Detroit, Michigan, and the community that helped make him. What a Hall of Fame guy, whether Cooperstown feels that way or not.
I don't know about you, Rob, but one of my favorite things is when Willie Horton walked in the booth, and we had that honor again here tonight. He just kind of sat down with his
15 minutes
with his grandson and just kept talking baseball, and it was riveting.
We get a history lesson every time Willie comes in the booth.
Talking about the good old days, some of the guys he used to play against, and John Mayberry from Detroit, and Bill Freehand used to play against him. And
talked about hitting a home run at Tiger Stadium in high school.
Right. Funny thing is he talked about, you know, training and learning how to hit and how players do it today. And he said, all I did was I grabbed a broomstick, some bottle caps, and I used to hit them over the lodge.
That's how they did it, man. I'm telling you, old school, man.
Used to hit him over the lodge.
I bet he did too.
Great stories.
He's been a wonderful mentor for me. I mean, I've known Willie since 1979. I was a very young player in AAA, and he was on his way out as a veteran player playing in AAA. And man, just the knowledge that you can imagine that he had already had. I mean, he had already played in the big leagues for a number of years, and we've been able to maintain a real nice relationship since then.
Candy down on strikes, going to get through though, and he's going to reach. That's a break for the Tigers. A strikeout, a wild pitch, it appears.
And nice little changeup here that gets underneath. That should be a pass ball, really. I don't know how they're going to score it, but give Candelario some credit for hustling down that line and making it safely to first base. And maybe that's the break the Tigers needed.
Leadoff man is on. The wall side windows pitching change features Jace Fry.
And Fry with a 4.58 ERA. Opponents hitting only a buck and some change against Fry.
They have officially ruled it strikeout, wild pitch.
And Fry's got a fastball that will touch 93, sometimes 94. He loves his slider. He throws that a bunch. He also has a curveball and a changeup. So he throws a lot of off-speed pitches. And you saw that real good curveball right there to Iglesias.
Here is the 0-2. Nice block there by Smith. Jose in the ball game tonight, double, ground out, strikeout. Giolito had 7 punch outs before departing. Man, Iglesias strikes out again for the 2nd time in this game.
That is unusual for Jose.
Got a Ram pick the stick update.
Oh, what we got here?
I have a feeling Ryan's going to be doing pretty good tonight. He's got a 6er.
Yeah, and where did I pick today?
Dead last.
I picked dead last today.
Let's see. I got a -1.
Not a whole lot going on other than Victor, though. I'll take it, though. All day, every day. After what Shep did to us yesterday. My goodness.
Problem is, we're all 1,000 points behind the leader.
Yeah. Nicholas Castellanos is still killing left-handed pitching. He's batting .400 against lefties. That doesn't lead the majors anymore. He's number 2 behind Nolan Arenado of the Colorado Rockies, who is batting a robust .412 against lefties. And we've always told you that Nick's a really good breaking ball hitter, and Fry's got a good breaking ball. So we'll see who wins this battle.
Jace Fry, a 3rd rounder out of Oregon State.
He's a Beaver.
Same college for Mr. Matthew Boyd.
And also their #1 pick this year, who they say is legit.
Madrigal?
Yep. They say he can hit. He's already tearing up the minors, they say.
Little guy, but he can hit.
Yeah, man. He can hit. He's from Oregon State, too. This guy's got a good changeup.
Yeah, that was a great one there.
Oh, he's thrown a lot of them, man. This is it's a tough pitch to hit. I mean, he struck Candy out with it. He also got Iglesias out with it, and he got Nicholas to flail at one. Take a look at it. Really pulls that body violently to the right side, which gets that arm in a real nice angle to get that good fading action of down against the right-handed batters.
Giolito went 6, allowed 3 runs, all in the first inning. Pitched out of a bases-loaded jam in the 6th. 2-2 now on Nick.
And the one thing about Fry is it'd be easy to say, okay, he throws a lot of changeups, he throws a lot of breaking balls. Let's go up there and sit on 1 or 2 of those. But he's got 93, 94 as a weapon with his fastball. So you always have to respect that. Everybody's out in front of that breaking ball.
Two and 2 on Nicholas. You got Goodrum on deck. Tigers came into this game 32-28 at home. They played much better in this ballpark. It'll miss inside now, full 3-2. That's fireworks going on.
What's going on? What they celebrate?
I don't know.
It's pretty cool. They got nothing on the Tigers Friday night, though.
No. Swing and a miss. Nick is out of there, and there are 2 gone.
Tigers have punched out quite a bit today.
10 times to be exact.
It's supposed to be the White Sox that's punching out 10 times. That's the team that usually punches out a lot.
Yeah, they're striking out a lot too tonight, so both teams have been whiffing. That wouldn't be distracting to hitters, would it, these fireworks?
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's high enough to where, I mean, they can see them, no doubt, but I mean, they're focused down a lot lower than where those fireworks are. It's great question, though.
Nico is 1 for 3. He singled in the 6th. Technically, Fry has struck out the side here, but the wild pitch on strike 3 to Candelario allowed him to reach. Now 2-0 on Goodrum. Talked about this last night, but it's funny how far Goodrum has come. You know, obviously it's because of circumstance, but he's batting cleanup now in a big league lineup here in August. After fighting to make the team as a utility player, and really was behind Machado this year.
Yes.
And Dixon struggled, and Nico didn't.
He was the last man to make the roster. Nico Goodrum, and they're glad they kept him too. That change piece is a unbelievable pitch for Fry. I don't think any Tiger has made contact on the pitch.
Fry has made 41 appearances, but that ERA of 4.5.
He got a lot of strikeouts, though.
Hard hit ball to second. Sanchez whirling and throwing him out.
He played that nicely.
Nothing doing for the Tigers. And Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire. perfectly early in this game. You don't normally see Blaine Hardy give a lot of runs or any runs in the first inning, but 3 of them tonight.
Yeah, well, they got to him early, but he did settle in. I'm wondering what happened to Blaine, though, because he didn't stay out there as long as we thought he'd stay out there. I don't think he threw 60 pitches in the contest, but Blaine handled his business while he was out there. But Giolito on the other side, just a little bit better.
57 pitches in this ball game for Blaine Hardy before departing. And the Tigers have gone to the bullpen for a couple of pitchers. Bud Farmer is back out there in this ball game. And the Chicago team, they still, even though, Rod, they've been struggling a lot this year, and they have been struggling, they do still have some pretty good big league hitters.
Well, they had some great at-bats against McAllister. I mean, you had Anderson going the other way. You had Garcia going the other way. You also had Abreu going the other way, and they were able to score a couple of more runs to get the score to 6. But I really loved their approach against McAllister, the newest Tiger that they just got from the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah, that was the...
There's that trio right there, all sitting next to one another that I just mentioned.
Down the right field line, Castellanos coming toward the gate, and it's out of play.
Yeah, but the way the Tigers have been getting on base, I mean, they still have 6 huge outs in this contest, and they could, you know, push a run or 2 across.
Matt Davidson is starting it off. Davidson, then Palka, and then Smith facing Farmer, who had a 1-2-3 7th, but he got a great diving play from Nico Goodrum to help him out.
Davidson's got great power.
Davidson this year with 15 RBIs against Tigers pitching, 6 homers as well. You know, the other thing he's got is a pretty good throwing arm. He throws 90 miles an hour.
Does he?
And he has pitched 3 times this year for the White Sox.
Oh.
And he even struck out Giancarlo Stanton recently.
Oh, that's him who struck out Stanton the other day.
Yeah.
He struck him out with a breaking ball.
Yeah, with a curveball.
I saw that.
Put that on your mantle. 3-2 to center field for Reyes. 1 away here in the 8th. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives to Motor City. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. The Alan Trammell display. One of the latest Hall of Famers, along with Jack Morris. Polka takes ball 1.
They have not been able to get Polka out in the series.
2 more singles in this game, and RBIs 2 out of 3. One ball and 1 strike. K-line fan. A lot of those in this city. To the right side, Goodrum to the outfield. 2 away. That'll bring up Kevin Smith. Smith had a sac fly in the 3-run first inning. He is 0 for 2 with an RBI. Each ball club tonight with 8 hits. The difference, Tigers have stranded 7, including the bases loaded a couple of innings ago. Popped it straight up. Center field. Who wants it? A trio of Tigers, and it's Goodrum. Coming up, you'll hear Sparky Anderson's Hall of Fame speech. Who had the biggest influence in him? Find out next.
But there ain't a guy that ever went to Harvard smart as my daddy. And he said, son, every person you meet, you will just be nice and treat that person like they are someone. And you know, I can tell you this, I have tried as hard as I could. There's no way you can try any harder than I have. My daddy was all man. He didn't need no big degrees to walk tall.
That was Menard's big money encounter, the Hall of Fame speech of George Sparky Anderson in 2000.
Sparky walked awfully tall too, so he took after his daddy.
There's number 11 for Sparky, a franchise record 1,331 victories as a Tiger skipper.
Won a World Series in both leagues, with Cincinnati, the Big Red Machine, and with the Detroit Tigers.
What was he like when you played for him?
You know what? He was just a man that commanded a lot of respect. And from the time you walked in the clubhouse, he was always walking through the clubhouse. I mean, he was one of those managers that was always in the clubhouse. But when you went on the baseball field, he was all business. I mean, you could just watch the third baseman, the shortstop, the second baseman. Everything was regimented. I mean, he knew how to run a practice. And one other thing that Sparky did that no other manager ever did is that when practice was over, all the guys that didn't start in the game, that weren't playing in the game, he would take us all down the left field line at Tiger Stadium, and he would stand out in center field about where Engel is standing. And we would have to run from the line on left field all the way to center field about 10 times. And he was out there waiting, watching you. He wanted to make sure that everybody was in shape.
Wow.
He stood there and watched us do it every single day. And it didn't matter whether it was Chet Lemon or Kirk Gibson or Lou Whitaker or Larry Herndon, whoever wasn't starting that day, they ran that day, and the manager watched them run. This is the big leagues.
Yeah. Everybody talks about the respect that he commanded. Chopped the third foul by Martinez.
I mean, I first met Sparky in 1976, and when we had a chance to go to Cincinnati because we won the American Legion Championship in Santa Monica, California. So what they allowed the champions to do was to go to the first 2 games of the World Series that year. So we went to Cincinnati, and the Yankees were playing against the Reds. As a matter of fact, we stayed in the same hotel as the Yankees did.
Wow.
Believe that. And we met Sparky on the field, as did all of my teammates. Little did I know, a few years later, I'd have an opportunity to play for him.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty crazy, too.
Yeah.
Victor here in the 8th. He'll be followed by a Ducey and McCann. Those are the hitters due up here against Jace Fry, who struck out 3 but needed another out because of a wild pitch on one of the strikeouts.
Yeah, he's got that real good changeup, boy, and most of the right-handed batters have not been able to lay off that change piece. Here comes another one.
And down goes Martinez. He'll just simply walk away. He's going to be out. It's going to be 4 strikeouts now for Fry. Here is the upcoming pitching matchup presented by Wallside Windows. We've got the final game of the series tomorrow.
And Carlos Rodon is pitching some of the best baseball in baseball right now. If you go back the last 6 weeks, he has been getting it done. He checks in 2.61 with a 3.3 ERA. I mean, three wins and 3 losses. And he'll be going up against Jordan Zimmerman. And Rodon, he's a left-hander. He's had some injury problems this year.
Ducey rolls one to first base. Abreu, nice high hop, and there are 2 gone. It'll bring up McCann. Strikeout, ground out, fly out for McCann. In there, strike 1 on McCann. Tigers batters tonight have struck out 11 times. More action in the Chicago bullpen.
And Fry has 4 of those. Giolito had 7. Fry's got a wicked changeup and a real nice breaking ball too. He just uses his fastball. He just shows you the fastball to knock you off the plate. Then he comes back with one of those 2 breaking pitches, and that are crisscrossing each other in the strike zone. One is going one way and the other is going the opposite way.
He'll get foul. How about our poll results? We got an update.
Mr. Tiger still?
Yeah, Mr. Tiger leading the Georgia Peach. Now the Mechanical Band was a good one, and the Hebrew Hammer of Hank Greenberg. Two and 2 now is the count on James McCann. Now Fry with the 2-2. Just got a piece.
Fry has come in and really stabilized things for the White Sox the last couple of innings. Man, Tigers haven't gotten good swings against him. He's got a wicked breaking ball, and they just haven't been able to pick it up.
He has been extremely effective. Giolito loaded the bases with nobody out on the 6th, pitched out of that, and then Fry took over in the 7th. And Max staying alive. Gerber on deck. Tigers on the bench tonight still have Mikey Matuk, Grayson Griner, and Ronnie Rodriguez.
Well, if somehow, some way McCann is able to reach, and they might have somebody up there ready to pinch hit for Gerber, who's in the on deck circle, and it looks like it's going to be Mikey Matuk. This is when you're standing in that on deck circle and you're the hitter and you're looking over there out your corner of your eye. You see Mikey over there standing. Say, what am I standing out here for?
Who we kidding here?
Don't think for one moment he don't know you're in there.
Well, of course.
And you're like, come on, give me one more shot.
Max got to get on first. And he's one pitch away from doing that. 3-2. So Fry now is up to 38 pitches. Line to left field, sinking, and caught on a slide out there by Lamar.
They're making all the plays too.
1, 2, 3, 8th inning for Jace Fry, and Lamar helped him out. Nice sliding catch.
They couldn't plate anything with the bases loaded and nobody down.
Chef, first of all, give Giolito a lot of credit. 7 punch-outs. Give Jace Fry a lot of credit. 4 punch-outs. They have to stick around for the post-game before I can talk, in order for me to tell them what happened in the 6th inning. What I believe happened, a couple of young, immature at-bats in that situation. We'll break it all down for you in the post-game
All right,
show.
looking forward to that. 11 strikeouts, 7 men left on base so far. We'll hear from Ron Gardenhire. We'll also give you an update on how Michael Fulmer has done in Lakeland in a rehab start. All that and more coming up on Tigers Live postgame. But now to the 9th with Mario and Rod. Guys.
All right, fellas, thank you. Ronnie Rodriguez has taken over at short. First pitch grounded towards second for Nico, and Goodrum throws out Sanchez. A right thumb contusion for Jose Iglesias. Means he is out of the ball game. Well, Buck Farmer, man, how about the job he's done?
He has done marvelous work out there. He's thrown 21 pitches. The majority of the pitches that he's thrown have been strikes. And he has put up some goose eggs since he's been in the game.
Here is Ryan Lamar. Homered in the second. He is 1 for 3. The home run was his first major league home run. Now Buck with the 0-1 pitch. They wanted to offer up a bunt, but take strike 2.
Ryan's had a nice day. He also made a really nice play on that final out of the bottom half of the 8th inning, and robbing James McCann of a base hit. Just like we promised you, it's time for the Miller Lite Hold True moment, and Ryan Lamar had one of those moments here today when he homered. As a matter of fact, it's the first home run of his major league career, and he did it in front of family and friends.
Hi, baby.
Nice hug from the manager.
The 0-2. It does not matter what Brian Lamar does the rest of his major league career. He has hit a home run in his hometown.
Oh, he'll always remember it. His family will always remember it.
Technically from Jackson, Michigan, but still here at Comerica Park. Played for the Wolverines. 2-2 on Lamar. Here's the family gathering. It'll chopper to second, and Goodrum. Lamar is out, 2 away. MLB.TV is now available at a lower price for $49.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game. Plus, get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Blackout, other restrictions apply. MLB.TV to take advantage of this offer. 2 away now for Adam Engel, who is 0 for 3. Driven on a line to left field, and it's going to be caught by Gerber for the final out. So we go to the bottom of the 9th inning here at Comerica. Tigers down 3.
Today is as much about you as it is for me. Your support over all these years has meant a great deal to me, and today all Tiger fans can celebrate. Like Ernie Harwell used to say, when the Tigers turn a double play, you get 2 for the price of 1, with Jack and I going into the Hall of Fame together.
Well, the great Alan Trammell has, or will have, his number retired here next week at Comerica Park. In the meantime, they're going to the bullpen again. We'll be back. Fry out there, and then once Matuk was announced as a pinch hitter, Juan Minaya was brought in.
And Rick Renteria, the manager of the White Sox, had it planned all along. If there was a pinch hitter, then he was going to counter with Minaya.
Wallside Windows pitching change. Minaya was roughed up here last night, gave up 3 runs in the 8th inning to the Tigers. He's back out there tonight, and Matuk looks at ball 1.
Most managers, if that pitcher, in this case being Minaya, didn't throw too many pitches last night, most managers will try to get that reliever back in the contest as soon as they possibly can to get that taste of last night's out of his mouth.
Mikey's going to get a base hit here. You know why? He went back to his old walk-up song from last year.
Oh, did he?
He did. He changed coming into this year, but he went back to Chill Bill.
Oh, he did. He used to walk up to Skywalker. Skywalking something.
Here's the 2-1. 3-1 on Matuk. And he walked in. Ball 4. Leadoff man is on.
He got a short leash tonight.
Yeah, like one batter.
Yep. He getting ready to go make a move right now.
So Minaya, who gave it up last night in the 8th inning, faced 8 batters, walks 1 batter, and he's gone. And back to the bullpen go the White Sox. We'll be back. Did you know Jack Morris, number 47, retired just a couple of days ago, and more wins, complete games, innings, and strikeouts than any other pitcher in the 1980s.
That should have been good enough to get him into the Hall of Fame a long time ago. I mean, he dominated the sport for a decade.
For a decade, right?
A decade.
Absolutely true.
And that's usually the barometer to get you in.
But he's in, so that's all that counts. He had to wait, though. Well, they go back to the bullpen now. It's going to be Xavier Cedeno.
26 game for Cedeno. And checks in with a 3.38 ERA. The whip is approaching 1.5. He does get wild himself. He's walked 12 in 18 innings.
Here is Victor Reyes. Reyes in the ball game tonight is singled in 3 at-bats.
White Sox love left-handed pitching. I remember one time they had like 4 left-hander starters in their rotation just a few years ago.
The 0-1 bouncing in, scooped up there by Smith. Well, their bullpen has not performed all that well in this series. Gomez gave up a 2-run homer last night. We talked about Manaea giving up 3 runs in the 8th. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Just in case, you've got Greeny warming up in the Tigers bullpen. Now Cedeno with the 1-2. Pulled foul. Join us again tomorrow afternoon. Tigers and White Sox wrapping up this 3-game set. All of your game coverage begins at noon with Tigers Live. It's right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Well, they got them all churning now. Vieira is warming up as well in their bullpen. Thiago Vieira. Just missed. 2-2. Rally cap. Plural. Rally caps. Line drive caught. Quick throw to first. Not in time. They almost doubled him up.
They did, man.
Meanwhile, Reyes stings the ball.
It's one of those plays where if you take too many steps toward that next base, you're going to get doubled up. And Mikey Montook, you see how many steps he took before he realized that ball was going to be caught. Yeah, but still able to get back.
One away, top of the order now. It's Jeimer Candelario. Another good night for Jeimer. 2 singles. He has scored a run. Strike 1. Tigers have won 9 of the 10 so far between these two squads. Now 0-2 on Jeimer. Ronnie Rodriguez on deck. It would have been Iglesias, but a bruised thumb has taken him out of the game. Driven down the left field line and hooking foul.
Couldn't stay back long enough. A slow breaking ball there thrown by Cedeno. And it had Jeimer out of that front foot.
Jeimer knew it. Off the plate again, just missing. Cedeno, a native of Puerto Rico. He's been mostly in the National League, Houston, Washington. He's had some time with the Rays. Rodon and Zimmerman tomorrow in the series finale. And it's out in Minneapolis for the Tigers. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and Jamer's out of there. 2 gone. They'll bring up Ronnie Rodriguez.
And first at bat of the night for Ronnie.
Well, if he can just get on base, he'll bring the tying run to the plate, and that's Castellanos.
Yeah, that's why that right-hander is up in the bullpen. Should Ronnie get on, I'm sure Rick Renteria will go back to the bullpen again and bring a righty in for Nicholas. Didn't feel the need to do so for Ronnie.
Oh, and 1 on Rodriguez. Here's Nick lurking. Ronnie rolls it to third, foul. Now the count is 0-2 on Rodriguez. Ronnie came in batting $176. He's had 4 RBIs this year. Tigers got the leadoff man on, a walk to Matuk. He's still standing there. And there he goes to second. It'll be a ball outside. He'll take second base with no throw. One and 2 on Rodriguez. Two and 2 on Ronnie. Get him on any way you can. Nick waiting on deck. Cedeno trying to close it out for the White Sox. Now Ronnie given time at home plate. Line drive to left. Lamar coming on. It's going to drop, base hit. Matuk will hold it third. Rodriguez keeps it alive, looping the signal to left.
Yeah, nice job by Rodriguez. And first at bat of the evening. And more than likely, Renteria will go to that bullpen and bring that righty out for Nicholas Castellanos. Lamar in the outfield nearly made another really good catch. He did a nice job of keeping that ball in front of him. And that forced Matuk into staying at third base. That's the key right there. Once you realize that you've gotten in no man's land and you can't make the play, you don't leave your feet. You simply act like you're a catcher and you keep that ball in front of you.
So they're going to leave Cedeno in there, and Castellanos bats .400 against lefties. He is the tying run. Not only that, .383 against Chicago this year with 4 long balls. He hit one last night. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Nick tonight with a strikeout, a couple of ground outs, and another punch out. He's 0 for 4.
Cedeno is holding right-handed batters to a .206 average.
There you go. That's one.
Yep.
You always wonder which number to believe. Is it your guys average against or the other guys average versus lefties?
Well, Rick Renteria is going with his strength. Because Cedeno is better against righties than he is against left-handers. He's got those reverse splits as well.
Nick yanks it foul. Now 1-2 on Castellanos.
Tigers right-handed batters are fighting very hard trying to stay inside that baseball, trying to hit it up the middle, trying to hit it the other way. Ball jumped up a bit, the bat boy. You see it?
No, did it?
Did. Jumped up and bit him.
He called him out.
Come on, Nicholas.
Again, rolled foul. Much better that time.
Yeah, a little better that time.
He got right back on top of that horse.
That ball will find you. That ball will find you. He's trying to lobby to the people next to him. See, I caught that one.
Low ball 2. Nick takes a deep breath. Walking a single, keeping things alive here for the Tigers. Here's the 2-2. Got him. Strike 3. Castellanos caught looking to end the ball game. White Sox win tonight 6-3. Now we send you to the Coliseum Studios. Matt Shepard with Tigers Live post game.
Mario, so much to discuss in this one and break it down. What happened in the 6th inning? Why did they miss their opportunity? Ryan Lamar from Jackson shined brightly. We'll talk about him, the Hall of Fame celebration that we enjoyed throughout the broadcast. And how did Michael Fulmer do in his rehab assignment in Lakeland? All that and more with Craig Monroe when Tigers Live starts after this.